Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Guys, if you can, everyone can quickly be seated. And can we close the door at the last? Jagdish? Yeah. So, right after the lunch, how many of you feeling little energetic, having food and having energy, right? Looks like many of you are still sleeping. Is it? Let's stand up. Let's do some exercise. Quickly, quickly. We are running short of time as well. Okay. Everyone awake now? Okay. Thank you. Be seated. Okay. First of all, I would say thank you for everyone being participating over here in this workshop. Next 75 minutes would be something that I'm pretty sure you would be understanding what's data security and how you can future-proof your strategies. But before moving into that, I would like to welcome everyone from Hitachi Systems and ForcePoint team to be here on stage. Aman, come. So we have our India AVP, Mr. Aman Thareja, and I'd like to ask him to just thank you all and kickstart the session.
Sure. Thank you very much, everyone. Does anybody know how much data they have on their mobile phone? How much data do you have on your mobile phone? Anyone? किसके पास कितना डेटा है खुद का वही नहीं पता है 300 GB, right? Okay, how many copies of your passport are floating in this world? Unlimited. Yeah, I think that's the whole essence what we want to talk today. As individuals, we are all concerned about our privacy, our security, our family's security. But it is an unfortunate situation that none of us knows how much data we have at an individual level. We don't know how many copies of our own PIA data is floating. And imagine the kind of uphill task we have to protect data for our own organizations. So I'm not a cyber guy, actually. I used to work in the military for the first 10 years, and then I used to work for Cisco for about 10 years. And what I realized is that nobody actually ever understood data. And therefore, data, whilst being the most important subject, but really no real action is being taken to protect data. It was more of a compliance tick mark. उसने बोला है कि RBI ने आपके पास होना चाहिए तो हमने कुछ लगा दिया है. But when I spent time in ForcePoint, I realized that there are ways and means to understand and protect your data in a more meaningful way, just by putting great firewalls or securing your perimeter or having a great solution which can prevent a malware to come to you. You can't really fortify your data. So that's why at ForcePoint, our vision is only one. We are a 40-year-old company. We are headquartered in Austin. We have almost 700 employees here in India now. We feel that a data-first approach is required for a true cybersecurity. And I think the team is going to take us through that in a more detailed way. We feel that data protection is one part, but to able to understand what data you have, what is the context of the data, where is the data, what access governance is there on that data, how do I figure out which part of the data is sensitive and which part is not sensitive, are the things which we can help you solve. And once we know that, I think we can leverage the ecosystem of perimeter security or a cloud security in a better way. So I think that's what is the whole context about this. And I really, really want to thank all of you for taking time out, coming here. I think I always say that time is the most valuable thing that all of us have. And time is directly equivalent to love. Right? If you love someone, you spend time with them. Otherwise, you don't. So I really appreciate and thank all of you.
Thanks, Aman. So thank you, everyone. Now we would be deep dive into what exactly the topic of the day is. And I'll hand over to Mr. Taral Shah, who is the Senior SE Manager for India and SAC. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, team. Thank you very much for being here. And participating in this masterclass event. Okay, so today's topic, as Ayush highlighted, today's topic is future-proof data security. So when we talk about the future-proof data security, it builds upon the two words, that is visibility and the control. Most of the organizations doesn't have the visibility where their data is, okay? And the most importantly, most of the major challenge what we are seeing is the threats are not smarter, but it is our pace to understand the data which is residing in the different repositories. So thumbnail is that unless you understand the data, unless you unless you see the data, you cannot secure that. And the same goes with the, unless you understand the data, you cannot control that. Okay, so that's the fundamental of it, and that's where the futuristic data security should be built upon the real-time visibility of the data. Like as Aman highlighted, who and where is the data is being created, who has access to it, what is the sensitivity level of those documents, okay? So these are the critical component. What is the context behind those documents? What exactly the content inside it? Once you have this visibility into the data, then only you can enforce the control on the top of it. So let's deep dive a little bit further into this, that what are the major challenges of the organizations today? So first and foremost is the data sprawl and the fragmentation. So if you don't have the visibility into the data, your visibility is the fragmented. And if the visibility is fragmented, you will not be able to enforce the proactive control on the data. It will be always reactive. And second thing, data sprawling. Today, the Gartner says that 85% of the organization doesn't know that where my critical data is. What kind of data is being generated within the organization? Second is the generative AI. Most of the organizations wanted to adopt the generative AI, okay? But they wanted to make sure that the generative AI usage is safe. They are not uploading any sort of confidential data. And earlier it was, we know that ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, now there are multiple such Gen AI applications available in the market. So how safely we can leverage the Gen AI, that is another challenge which most of the organizations are facing. The third is the governance and the compliance. In earlier days, when we talk about the SEBI, IRDAI, they were maintaining only one statement in their document, that data should be secured, okay? But now they have the complete sections for the data security. And in the recent past, the DPDPA came into the picture. Now it is being enforced. So that is again a very critical component. Last but not least, security fatigue. Most of the organizations are having a multiple point solutions in their environment. And when you have a multiple solution, you cannot get the contextual information and visibility is miserable. And that's where you need a unified platform which can provide you the better data security. Okay, so these are the difficult challenges which most of the organizations are facing in today's scenario. Now let's deep dive into the small visibility example, that a day in the life of the sensitive data. You can see here that the user is downloading certain critical data from the Salesforce or the CRM tool. He's storing that data into the endpoint machine. Now he's sharing that data with the other colleagues within the team over the SharePoint. Then he is uploading that data onto the generative AI, okay, to get the analysis of the data. And once the analysis report has been generated, it has been given to the entire team with the partners and everyone. Now you see this entire story of 10 minutes time frame. The data has been generated in the different formats, point number one. Point number two, the data has been transferred over the multiple channels, like endpoint, SharePoint, generative AI, email, Slack, right? So unless you have the visibility of the data, you cannot enforce the control on the top of it. And that too, the visibility of the data should be in the real time, right? It can't be happen that the data is being generated and after 2 hours, 3 hours, or 1 day, you come to know that so-and-so data has been generated. So it should be in near real time. So there is a need of the new data security approach, which should be built on the discovery. First, you need to understand where my data is. Okay, what kind of repositories are storing the critical data? Second is the classification of the data. How I should understand the content within the data and classify those documents. Third is the prioritization. Based on the volume of the data, usage of the data, and risk of the data, I should be able to prioritize what I need to remediate first and what should go next. And last but not least, the protection of the data. And that's where, DLP comes into the picture, right? So this new data security approach is required. And with Forcepoint, we provide the unified data security platform. So Forcepoint brings together DLP and DSPM solution, which can deliver complete end-to-end visibility and the control over the data, no matter whether the data is structured data, unstructured data, data is in motion, data is in use, or the data at rest, okay, in the different repositories, no matter it's a cloud or something. Forcepoint DSPM provides the visibility layer, okay, real-time visibility layer, and it provides the information. It discovers the data across the multiple repositories like cloud storage, SaaS application, endpoint, network storage, and it can provide you the critical data information that where the critical data is residing. Along with that, it also provides the max exposure, highlights the misconfiguration, and provide the clear picture that where the risk is truly live. Okay, so you can take the corrective actions based on the top of it. Once you discover the data, once you have the visibility into the data, you have Forcepoint is also offering the DLP solution. It can help you in creating the behavior-aware policies, real-time risk scoring for the individuals, and adaptive enforcement of the policy. And the most important point is single policy can be enforced onto the multiple channels like web, email, cloud application, SaaS application, private application, storage, database, right? So with a unified policy engine, which gives the seamless experience to the SOC people as well. So this is the foundation of the Forcepoint Unified Data Security Platform. And it can help you understand the data which is lying into the different repository, classify those documents, and give the protection against the data leakage. So together, DLP and DSPM provides the data-centric, behavioral-driven, cloud-native, and adaptive enforcement data protection to the organizations. So now let's talk about the different modules of the Forcepoint DSPM. Forcepoint DSPM helps you understand the data which is lying into the different repositories. Comprehensive and fast discovery of the data, I will talk about that in the subsequent slide. AI mesh powered data classification. So it's not about the keyword and the regex. We leverage the SLMs, predefined AI templates, AI models, to identify the critical data of the organization. Then we offer the real-time monitoring and the risk assessment, okay? And last but not least, workflow and the orchestration. So you can create the bulk remediation of the data, which is highly critical for your organization. And if it is overly exposed or something like that. So Forcepoint DSPM leverages the secured AI mesh. What it does is we are leveraging the SLM. We are not leveraging the LLM. LLM requires a huge compute power like GPUs and other stuff. Whereas we are leveraging the SLMs, that's a small language model, and it is built to perform the specific task. The one model is designed to identify the PII data. Second model is defined to scan the PCI data. So that way those models are created and they are providing the much faster discovery of the data within the different repositories. Second thing, lower TCO, as the compute is not required like GPUs and other stuff, the overall TCO is very low. The models are trainable. This is very critical component. These are the trainable models. What I mean to say by this, there is a little bit of AI tailoring required for organization to organization. And we help organization in training the models as per their requirement. And those models, trained models, customized models, are only applicable to that particular organization. Okay? And last but not least, explainable. When auditor comes to you and asks you that, hey, this data is confidential, what is the content inside this due to which you are telling that it's a confidential document? We provide a lot of contextual information of the document which can help you understand why the document is confidential without opening the document. And I will talk about that in the next slide. So this is the kind of data what we are offering when we are discovering the data. First and foremost, we identify the content. What kind of content is there inside the document? Whether it's a SSN data, Aadhaar card number, PAN card number, address, product codes, or the software code. Those kind of information we provide in the identification. We also do the categorization information as well, like based on the content of the document, whether it's a PCI document, PII document, a military document, or something like that. Then we also helps in doing the persistent tagging of the document, that is classification. You can enforce the different kind of labels onto the document based on the sensitivity level of the document. Then the labeling. Labeling is nothing but most of the time the people are concerned that, okay, I found that a particular document is a confidential document, but this document belongs to which department? So we provide the information about the documents that belongs to which particular department as well. Profiling, this is very critical component of the DPDPA Act, that how do I understand what kind of redundant data, outdated data, and the tribal data is there within my organization. Let's say if I want to understand that how much data is being untouched for last 10 years in the different repositories. With a single click, you can understand those redundant data or the outdated data within the different repositories. Same goes with the redundant data as well. If there is a multiple copy, Yaman was talking about how many passport copy you have, right? So redundant data also can be understood using the Forcepoint DSPM solution. Access permission, last but not least, access permission and the governance. We also provide the information about what is the permission, what is the exposure of a particular document, right? So if the document is confidential and if it is overly shared with everyone in the file storage, or if there is a file which is lying into the OneDrive and externally shared, but by nature is a confidential, we provide that visibility and the remediation as well. So you can remove the access permission, not only on premises, but onto the cloud storage as well. Then, Forcepoint endpoint classification, you can enforce the different kind of controls on the document. The biggest challenge is the manual classification of the data. I haven't heard from any customer that they deployed the classification tool, which is keyword and the regex base, and they got the ROI of the solution. What Forcepoint is helping organizations and the end user is, when the endpoint classification is being enforced, we provide the suggestion based on the content, whether it's a confidential document or what is the compliance of that particular document. And we provide the classification option as well, which user can take, because not all the users are that literate to understand what kind of data I am creating, right? So this is the endpoint classification. We provide this kind of suggestions, and based on that, it will be very easy for the end user to classify the particular document.
And just to add on this, if you can go to the previous slide, it's not only about the tagging, not a single tag, it's a multi-tag, right? When you are putting a label into a file, it's inserted into the meta property and it becomes a persistent label. And when we are talking about the compliances, it's not only about putting a symbol like whether it's a public or a private. We can also go to the next level where we can say distribution list, mark it as internal and external. Forget about the classification label. The distribution list can also be controlled, and then this can be governed to make sure that the DLP engine is also understanding this, right? So, yeah. And all the percentage side, if you can look at the classification, it's not only in the real time, it changes the classification labels as well, right? If you are inserting a normal content, and the moment you add a PI information or a PCI information, it automatically changes the percentage, right? Whether this file is classified as 90% confidential or a 75% confidential, and then you can take a action on top of it that if a file is more than 70% maybe a classification labeled as confidential, then what action needs to be taken. Yeah, over to you.
Thanks, Ayush. So we talked about the force-point DSPM, which can help you understand the data at rest. The second part is the force-point DDR, that is data detection and the response. There are three different kinds of data types. One is data at rest, second is data in use, and the third is data in motion. We talked about the data at rest. Now let's talk about the data in use. DSPM can perform the discovery at the scheduled interval. And if you have a petabyte of data, it takes a little bit of a time to scan those data. But what about the data which is in use? I'm creating some document, or I'm modifying some document, changing the content, and it is changing the severity of the particular document or the sensitivity level of a particular document. That's where ForcePoint offers the data detection and the response. It continuously monitors the files in the repositories which are in use, that is being modified, accessed, created. Those kind of actions, if there is a change in the permission, those are the different actions which are being continuously monitored by the DDR solution. Based on the change in the content of the document, we enforce the classification once again. Okay, so we change the classification as well. The third is dynamic incident alert. Let me give you a simple example that I'm a part of the IT organization today and I have access to all the routers and firewalls and everything. But tomorrow I'm going to the cyber security. Do I require those kind of access or not? Now, in a normal situation, those access will remain as is with me. But if I'm accessing those documents, ForcePoint DDR will identify that access and it can generate the dynamic incident alert as well that, hey, so-and-so user was part of the IT, but he accessed something from the finance, HR, or the cybersecurity division. So that it is generating the dynamic alerts and the corrective BU owner or the head can take the corrective action on the top of it. Last but not least, data lineage. Most of the organizations have faced a data breach some point in time, and they really want to understand that I know the file which has been leaked, but I really don't understand that who leaked that particular file. And that's where the data lineage comes into the picture. Data lineage provides you the complete history of a file, who has created that file, to whom it has been shared, who all have access and done the modification in that particular file. So those kind of complete hierarchical tree will be provided for each and every file, along with the permission. If someone is changing the permission as well, it will be captured within the lineage portion. So this is the ForcePoint DDR, which is mainly helping in the data in use. Now come to the SAS DLP. ForcePoint is known for the enterprise DLP, but the same capability has been introduced into the SAS DLP as well. So you can enforce the, similar to enterprise DLP, in the SAS DLP also, you can enforce the same policy onto the different channels, like web, email, custom applications, everywhere. We also provide the device control in this. What kind of devices are being attached to the endpoint, whether I want to allow the access to these or not. So that's the device control part. Third is view alerts for all the channels at the one place. Similar to enterprise DLP, here also you are getting all the incidents from the different channel in the single console, which can help you contextualize the incident for the insider risk, right? Let me simply give the example. If there is a user with the malicious intent, he's trying to steal the same data across the different channel. Now, if you have the point solution and everyone is having their own DLP, it is really difficult for you to understand whether it's a risky behavior or it's a malicious intent by the insider. While ForcePoint provides all the incidents from the different channel in the single console, so it will be very easy for the SOC person to understand that, hey, so-and-so user tried same kind of data within the 1 hour time to exfiltrate. Something is fishy. I need to draw some attention on this particular user, right? So that's where the contextual information of the risky user as well as the broken business process can be generated using the single unified platform of the DLP solution. And quickly understand user activity. We also offers the risk adaptive protection. Not only the DLP. DLP is a binary kind of solution. Either I will allow the data or I will block the data. But if I want to add the context from the user perspective, that's where the risk adaptive protection comes into the picture. What we do is, we understand the behavior of the user. It's a non-DLP activity, okay? We understand the behavior of the user, how he is behaving with the data, how he is downloading the data, how he is reacting with the data, how he is chatting with the colleagues. Those are the different behaviors, and we generate the risk score of an individual. Now, combining the DLP incident and the behavioral incident, we generate the risk score of an individual user. And you can enforce the 5 different actions onto the same policy, right? So today, there is a data which is needed for the business. And I'm loyal to the organization, I'm allowed to do that particular transaction. But tomorrow, if my risk score is going high, automatically I will be blocked to perform that particular activity. That's nothing but risk adaptive protection. Now, coming to the generative AI, I mean, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, we provide controls on all these 4 different areas. We can manage the access for ChatGPT, what kind of access needs to be given to the generative AI application. We help organizations in blocking the upload if there is a sensitive data into it. Okay, control the data usage. We can see the data, what kind of data is being uploaded and other stuff. And last but not least, we continuously monitor the enterprise generative AI applications like ChatGPT or Copilot, right? So we have one video, I think.
In this example, I'll be showing how a user is asking ChatGPT to help them write a letter to the bank. So you see they put in the request, and what they've done, though, is they've also included a name and a credit card number. That's PII and it's sensitive information. ChatGPT goes ahead and it responds to this request with an example of what they could put in to this letter. It then is saved in the history. So this sensitive information is in ChatGPT at this point. When you go back to ForcePoint DSPM, you're able to see the incident alerts. And this first top alert is referring to what we just saw and how credit card information was placed into ChatGPT. We're able to see the alerts that have happened. And you can see farther through into the alert, get more information about the user and the path. We're able to see that the classification is confidential. It's confidential information. We're also able to see that it was a credit card that was placed, keyword hit. Then also we're able to see the detector hits as far as what type of information was placed in there, and then that this was a high-risk situation that we saw. It's PII. Then you're able to go over and actually go in and remove that file from within ChatGPT Enterprise using ForcePoint DSPM. It gives an indicator up in the upper right that this task is started and they've begun the process of removing that sensitive information from within ChatGPT Enterprise. Then when we go back to ChatGPT Enterprise, you see what happens when the user opens up, they see this message at top, which says it's unable to load the conversation because the conversation no longer exists. It's been removed effectively using ForcePoint DSPM. For more information on how you can secure your data within ChatGPT Enterprise, as well as in other popular GenAI applications, please go to forcepoint.com/DSPM.
On time hona hai.
Thanks.
So you can see that ChatGPT Enterprise or Copilot Enterprise, right? If there is a sensitive data within it, okay, we can help you detect those confidential information, and we can help you removing those from the enterprise Gen application, right? So critical data cannot go to someone else within the organization. So that's where the ForcePoint DSPM can help integrating with the ChatGPT or the Copilot kind of Gen AI tool. This is the DPDPA Act. ForcePoint, with legacy of 30 years in the India market, we understand the India IT Act very well. We also understand the Indian names very well, Aadhaar card, PAN card, Form 16, Indian names. We understand that very well. It's not like John or Matt or something like that. They understand Taral, Ayush, those kind of words as well. And we also support the Hindi language as well in our DLP solution, which is very critical from the DPDPA point of view. Because as per the DPDPA regulation, all the consents should be in the Hindi form as well, okay? And that's where we can understand those kind of data. So here, we help organization in understanding and complying with the DPDPA Act by including both the DSPM and the DLP solution, right? So in the initial portion, we talked about the challenges most of the organizations are facing. With ForcePoint, we help organizations in accelerating their business, okay? We understand and we see and protect the data everywhere. No matter what channel you are leveraging, we can understand the data, we can see the data, and we can help you in protecting those data as well. Safely enable the Gen AI. We have a slogan called, when you are deploying the DSPM tool, how you can, over the period of time, how you can enforce the least privilege access. What I mean to say by this is that required access should be available with the end user. Today, users are having a lot of access in their file servers or onto the OneDrive or the G Drive. With DSPM tool, enforcing the access control and the governance, you can, over the period of time, move to the least privilege access, and only the required access is available with the end user for his business work. And once we reach to that particular stage, we can help you in safely enabling the Gen AI application, Gen AI tools as well, right? Because users has access to the data which is critical for them only, right? And obviously, DLP is there to enforce the control if there is a confidential information is being prompted onto the generative AI solution. Streamlining the compliance and the governance. You have seen in the video what kind of contextual information we are giving for the particular document. We provide the category, compliance information, we provide the department information, we provide what kind of content is there within the, inside the document, what is the permission level for that particular document. All this information we are providing, and that helps organization in streamlining the compliance and the governance. So you don't require to put huge amount of manual effort in understanding where my critical data is, what kind of ROT data is there within the organization, right? With the single click, you can get all those information and you can comply to the different regulations like DPDP and others, okay? Consolidated infrastructure, as I stated, ForcePoint provides the complete unified platform which can help you reducing the overall TCO of the operation cost, right? So That's where the Forcepoint enhance. And this is the product portfolio what Forcepoint is offering. The first one is the DSPM DDR, which helps you understanding the discovering the data, classification of the data, and in the compliance of the document. Second is the data privilege DLP solution, which can help you enforcing the control of the data, which is confidential by nature and going to the unauthorized person. The third is risk adaptive protection. We talked about that. Risk adaptive protection is nothing but, along with the DLP incidents, get some contextual information about the user behavior and enforce the dynamic controls on the top of it. Now we are coming up with the OEM partnership for the data privacy tool, which is another very critical component of the end-to-end data security. Data privacy, nothing but ROPA, DPIA, consent management. Those are the things which comes under the data privacy tool. And that is majorly handled by the DPO of the organization. So we did the OEM partnership for the same, and we are currently working in integrating both the solutions. And continuous monitoring on the protection. It's not a one-time activity. It is a continuous monitoring activity for organization. Any questions? Yeah.
Hi, this is Sandeep from Genpact. I would like to ask, total how many languages does your DLP product in tool support?
Sorry, how many?
How many languages your DLP product or tool supports? Like you mentioned Hindi, you are also preparing your tools for the Hindi to detect and identify the sensitive
I'm not
data.
able to understand.
He's asking how many languages are. So we
Okay.
support roughly around 48 languages.
Yes.
48 international languages.
National languages, when you say national languages,
We support Hindi as on date, nothing else, but there are few in the
I think we are
roadmap.
planning to bring the Devanagari language support in the DSPM and the DLP, both the solution.
okay, is it available somewhere where we can go and then see the total number of languages
Yeah,
that you
it-
are supporting?
There's a
Yes,
public link.
yes.
There's a public link which you can visit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
See, from a classification perspective, because employees are now posted outside also of the organization, so DLP solution within an organization will have classification through your agents. But what about employees who are working on a remote office? How to?
So we can, for the classification, you can deploy the agent on the remote machines as well, okay? That's point number one. Point number two, we are building API-based integration between the DLP and the DSPM solution, where any data which is unclassified and reaching to the gateway level, okay, like web gateway or the email gateway, if the document is unclassified, we call the DSPM classification tool over the API to classify that particular document.
User will be informed for that, or
User will be informed. I don't know about the user will be informed for that or not. I don't think so, because those are at the gateway level. These activities are happening at the gateway level. So there is no control back to the user in this situation.
okay? So workaround is there any integration with Office 365 for DLP product?
Sorry?
From a classification perspective, is there an integration of DLP with Office 365?
Yes. We have the API integration with the Office 365.
API, through your API integration?
Yes. So we can discover the data, we can classify those documents, we can remove the permissions as well. If it is externally shared, everything can be done by the DSPM tool, which normally a CASB solution can does. Right? So,
Hi, a wonderful session, by the way. Thank you very much. My question is on the GenAI usage, right? You showcased one example where GenAI or ChatGPT Enterprise, you were able to delete it from the backend. I believe the integration works via the API with the enterprise, right? How about the free usage of ChatGPT, where I want my users to use it but I want to ensure they do not upload any kind of data, something.
That's a very good question. So when we talk about the normal generative AI application, like Shadow Gen AI, okay, in that particular situation, Forcepoint DLP can definitely enforce the control for the prompts which are being given to the generative AI. If there is a confidential information, it will get blocked. Now, second level, where the application is not listed in our portfolio, but you need some sort of integration with using the API call. We can definitely get in touch with you. We can involve our data scientist team and everyone, and we can build the connectivity, and so that we can look at the data which is residing within your GenAI application.
One more question, just on top of GenAI. Since everybody is creating their own GenAI LLM models, right? How Forcepoint is going to cater for the ever expanding, because it will be always a cat and mouse game when somebody is developing new website, right? And they say that, okay, you can give us prompts. So how are we going to cater that?
So basically, there is a lot of development going on onto the GenAI protection right now. One, how we can leverage that for the ease of the operations. That's a one part of it. Second part is how we can leverage the DLP and the DSPM tool from the protection point of view. Many customers are coming today that, hey, we build the agentic AI, okay? We build the agent. Now we want that what kind of output is being generated from the agentic AI, how you can control on the top of it, right? So we are working on the custom applications kind of solution right now, which can sit in between your application, generative AI application, and the DLP solution. Any kind of upload or the download of the data can be monitored by us before it can be delivered to the end user. So that work is in progress, but yes, there's a very common use case of generative AI, that I want to build the agentic AI, how you can provide me the protection on the top of it.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
next question is in the last slides you told about the consolidate infrastructure reduce OPEX up to 31%. So here the infrastructure, what is all, can you explain?
It's more of the DLP channel and the DSPM tight integration. So what we are trying to say here is, let's say there is a different DLP solution. I will give 2 pointers here. One, you have a email security from Microsoft. I'm just giving the example. Email DLP solutions from the Microsoft. Endpoint solution is from the Trellix or the Forcepoint, someone. Zscaler, Netscope, or the Forcepoint is being used for the web DLP or for the SSE point of view. Each and every solution has their own DLP solution, right? Now, if first and foremost, the user experience will get destroyed, because what Forcepoint can do cannot be done by the Microsoft. At the same time, Zscaler, Netscope, or Forcepoint cannot do that, right? So that's the user experience point of view. Second, when you want to move from the reactive approach to the proactive approach into the DLP, how you can do that? One, that once you have the incident information, all these incidents are fragmented. One is available into the SSE solution, one is available in the endpoint, and third is available into the email solution. It is really difficult to get the contextual information behind that, because all three are different. Unless it is going to the SIEM, there is some playbook run, and now I'm getting the visibility that way, so-and-so user tried something like this, right? So that's where the operational overheads becomes very less. We are not talking from the compute or the hardware infrastructure point of view. This is more from the operational point of view, where how we can help organization in protecting the data from the exfiltration, how we can move from the reactive approach to the proactive approach.
Sir, next question is, in the same slide, you are telling about the streamlined compliances and governance. So normally we are using in the governments, whatever the compliances by the government and all. But my question is that streamlined compliances, what it denotes?
Streamline compliance?
Here
it
you
means?
told about streamlined compliances and governance, consistency, reporting and visibilities and protection across all the channels. So
Right.
my question is that, one is the general government compliances are all there, the government rules and regulations, but here you are writing the streamlined compliances. So
Okay.
what is the meaning of here streamlined compliances here?
Okay, so let's say today I don't have any tool, okay? An auditor comes in. He's asking for a lot of data from your side when we talk about the DPDPA and those kind of compliances. You really don't have the visibility that what kind of data is lying in the different repository. Point number one. Point number two, what you will do next as a DPO or the CISO? You will go to the business heads, okay? And whatever information you are getting from the business head, you are just relying on that, okay? Here, the kind of manual effort which is needed to understand the different critical data, which is PII, PCI, or for that matter, any regulation, it is really difficult for CISO or the DPO to understand where my critical data is. You are solely responsible on the BU heads or the technician over there to provide the visibility to you. Now, on the top of that, you are doing a lot of manual work to comply with that particular compliance. With Forcepoint DSPM solution, with a single click, if I want to understand how much PII data is residing within my organization in these 5 different repositories, with a single click, you can get that information. You are done. You are not relying on someone else who can give the false information as well, okay? You have the PII information, you have the Aadhaar card information, you have PAN card information. With this data, you also have the information about who all have the access to that particular data, which is another very critical component when we talk about the DPDPA. They are talking about the access governance and the redundant data. So with this tool, you can get all this information with a single click. What is the PII data within the organization? Who all are having access to it? How many redundant files are there within the organization? By combining this, it will be very easy for you to comply with this particular DPDPA, regulation. Okay, and that's where it's a streamlining the entire process rather than doing the manual work. Does that answer question?
So I think so in the interest of time, we can take the questions offline. I know there would be many more, but then.
Okay, now
are
there is,
already
there is a little bit of a demo part. Ayush will take over on the demo, how the Forcepoint unified platform looks like.
Yeah, thanks, Taral. So you can project the screen. So this is the one single console. I guess in the entire last 40 minutes, we have been talking about data security, data security, data security. So data security cloud, it's one single platform which serves all your purposes. Be it your gateways. Gateway means maybe you're accessing the internet, or you're accessing your cloud applications, you are accessing your emails, how we can control the access to them and how we can make sure that those are fully secure when you are accessing them, right? The second aspect to it is the data security, the cloud, where you are talking about the DLP SaaS, ingesting all those actions on those cloud channels, making sure the data which is traversing across these channels can also be fully controlled, right? Whatever is allowed to be uploaded, whatever is allowed to be sent via email, what is allowed to be externally shared by your SaaS apps, only those things are allowed, rest everything is controlled. That is done under DLP section. And then we also have the RBI ingested into the platform, which can make sure anything which is not secure or anything which is not known to you or not known to the world can also be fully isolated, right? And we have been talking about DSPM. We have a fully ingested platform which discovers the data on the DLP SaaS along with all the components, and we can fully give the reporting from the single console as well. I'll quickly give you a glimpse of it, how it looks like, how the platform works. So if once you log in, this is the home page where you can see all your licenses, what all things are there, in terms of if there's any new releases coming, what it is for. If you want to set up the trials, you're not licensed for something, you can all request from the single console itself. Then if I go to the secure gateway, why I'm calling this to secure gateway? Because this is a gateway for all your applications, right? Be it your SaaS applications, be it your internet application, be it your emails, right? Just bear with me for the internet. I guess it is logging out because of the slow internet. But it is all configured behind an SSO. So once it is logged in, you will be able to see, you can set up the passwords and you will be able to get into all the, I would say, the applications and all. Next is your DLP SaaS. All the screenshots that were being shown are right from from the console itself. Let it get, on the getting started dashboard, you will see the agent downloads and all those things. This internet is giving a real trouble. That's the challenge with when you're doing in live, right? Because sometimes the internet plays the game. So. Let me reload it. Anyways, let me go to the DSPM section if it is all. So once you do a DSPM scan, right? So how it looks like, you see on the dashboard, right? How many files have been discovered, how many files are available on each of these data sources, how many files have been classified, how many files are classified with their meta properties. And if you scroll down, you will also see the number of valuable assets, right? The critical files, the sensitive files, the files with PII, files with highly confidential, and then it also goes by the location, right? Where those files are. Are these files available on your OneDrive, SharePoint, SharePoint Online, right? And what are the assets which are on risk? These are all clickables. The moment you click, it goes into the details of each of them, right? The moment you see these files are here, you see the risk of those files. It says that the risk of the file is high. Why? Because the classification label has been marked as highly confidential. What is the compliance tag? It is marked as PII. What are the detectors? There are a list of PII detectors which it is calling, the data attributes, and then if there is a specific keyword which is also been matched, we can also capture that, right? And then when was the file last modified? All those details related to that comes. And you can also export them, right? It is not that it is only visible over here in the dashboard. The entire dashboard scan results or the scan progress can also be downloaded for your executive views as to what's really happening, where the files are and all those things. Next comes, these are the ones you're seeing is more of your unstructured, but you can also do a database structure scanning as well, right? So the moment you add on to the database structure, you can add the various databases. We have some of the common ones are already listed like MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle SQL, IBM DB2. There are a list which is continuously getting added as well. Next is the data classification piece. There were some questions around it as well. So we also do the endpoint data classification right from the console itself. You do not need to have a separate console doing classification on the endpoint and then classification on the network layer separately. And all these files which are being classified, what are the file activities, who was the user, which user did it, what was the action, it was saved as classified, it was saved as tagged or whatever, right? There are different nomenclatures to it. What are the reasons when it was done, right? So you can see, I was just testing yesterday, so yesterday's times are coming. So then you can also, I'll not get into details of each of them. Then is the compliance hub and DDR. So DDR helps you to give you the view of data lineage, right? This is right now not configured, but data lineage is very much important when you talk about the compliances in terms of when the data has been changed, right? If I am the author of a file, right, and it was just a public file, it didn't have any kind of confidential information, and the DSPM scan ran and it said public, right? And now Taral logs in into the same folder and goes to that particular file and copy paste the sensitive information, right? Because the DSPM scan has already run in the past, and there would be next scheduled scan, the file remains in the public stage. But that's a risk, right? With DDR, what it will do, it will automatically look at the file, look at what Taral copied. If it is a PII, confidential information, or defined by the policy, it could be some of your intellectual property information as well. It will on the fly change the compliance label and also notify the author, right, that your file has been changed by so-and-so user. And then if that file further traverses, the entire lineage and the entire process of the tracking can also be demonstrated. And then the complete platform has the administration functions. From here, you can add all the data sources, the files, the providers, sorry. You can see all the cloud providers over here. You can see the files over here. The email scannings can also be done. So this platform gives you the full granular control across your network, right? It's not only about one or two data sources. You can look at all the data sources from one single, I would say, console. Then what we have been talking about is the AI mesh, right? And this is the AI mesh, which is having lots and lots of AI models, which are based on SLM language. What Taral was also mentioning, it is not something that, these are pre-configured, but then your data could be different, right? Every organization may have a different kind of a content. So we can also do an AI tailoring method, where you can export these AIs and share with us, and the data which is matching to this AI, we can fully customize, and it becomes fully trainable for your data sets. And then a classification the way you want can also be ingested into the platform. So it's fully customizable the way you want. Any questions on this? Because this is the brain of the entire solution, because this is the place from where all your classifications would be governed, all your DDR scannings would be covered, or any kind of a scanning or a discovery which is happening is governed by this. And those who have been already working on the using the enterprise DLP are aware about the inbuilt templates that we have. All those templates are also getting enriched into these AI models now. So the enrichment of the AI model is becoming higher and higher. There are different types of signals. When you talk about AI, there are soft signals, the hard signals. Those are also getting ingested into the platform. And last, okay. So on the platform itself, if you go back, Insight is I would say, a console from where you will be seeing the reporting of each and every section, right? If you want to see who accessed what in your secure web gateway, Insight will let you know. Who was sending, what mails were sent, Insight will be able to give you. What was discovered, what classifications were changed, Insight will be able to give you those informations. And on the admin front, you can integrate all your different kind of users and roles, and you can also use SAML for the authentication, and then there is an external API. We have been talking about APIs a lot towards the later part of the session. These are the external APIs through which you can control many other things. And on the setting front, we can integrate with SIEM and do notifications, the security audits, the category overridings, and all those things can be configured right from here. So it's a one single platform which is doing almost all your secure access related stuff, which is from your internet access application, data security, DSPM, DDR, and classification. Yeah, so that's a quick, I would say, the overview of the console. I'll not get into details of it. So I'll hand over, and I'd like to call upon my Hitachi team to have a small session and then take it forward. We'll have the questions, but in the later half, once they are done.
Thanks. Thanks, Ayush. Thanks, Karan. So, good afternoon, everyone. While the slide is come here, I'm experiencing that today is a data security session, and in my 25 years of career, I started my journey from US World Bank, and I was reminding at that time that they divided a data privacy act in a sectors, like in GLBA, HIPAA, and VA. Then I moved to last decade, around 2014, to Europe, and I'm working in Belgium. And then the new GDPR Act is started. I was a part of that time. And last 6 years, I'm working for India, and now DPDP Act is started. So I'm like very feeling very good, so that the India also started something about API information. So here I am representing Hitachi System India, and I'm heading TCS over there. And you know that Hitachi is not a single company, it's a group of companies. And it's working in 4 areas, and digital system in India, mobility, and connective industry, and green. These are the 4 areas that Hitachi is working. I'll start the slide as well. So the founder is Nemihi Odera, and the Hitachi started in 1910. And these are the 4 areas I'm talking about, that digital system, India, energy, mobility, and connective industry. And there is a system they have built, Lumada, that act as a database of all these areas, and that all the information of these all 4 areas that as an input of the Lumada system and the output is like how they can help in a society in the field of all 4 areas. And our Hitachi System India is a part of digital system and services. So Hitachi System India is a subsidiary of Hitachi Group and is working in our services, data center, cloud security, and cybersecurity, observability, Zen AI, and in the industry as BFSI, finance industry, manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, real, traveler, public sectors, and IT and telecom. These are the locations that Hitachi System India is working, like total 11 locations. 2 are in abroad, Singapore and Dubai, and 7 in India. And the head office is New Delhi, Gurgaon, Cyber Hub. So we have 11 plus offices and 1,000 plus customers, 2,000 plus employees. So we have exclusive partnership, the top level partnership with the Forcepine in a titanium partnership we have with the Forcepine. And why? Because we are the system integrator, and data privacy and data security is one of the key feature and key things for the organizations. And Forcepine is one of them in the field of this, because data, unstructured, structured, identification, and end-to-end, as Ayush and Saran told me and represent, end-to-end security of data. So Forcepine is a good product for discovery of data, identification, remediations, and also cover the DPTP actors as well. Here, I just talking about the offering of Hitachi. So here, I have divided the whole Hitachi in a 3 vertical: services, solutions, and emerging technologies. Services, as you know, the recurring things that you provide for the organizations. Solutions is the one-time solutions, tools you deploy for the organizations, and emerging technology, the latest trend in the market right now. So working in 7 emerging technology: QLR, One Cosmos, Forcepine, Terafence, Opswert, GenAI, and Clean Start. Security services, we also divided in 4 parts. We have 4 departments, and security services: assessment, audit, managed services, VCSO, VDPO, and advanced services. Advanced services, nothing but the forensic services we provide for the customers. And in a solutions, that whole organization is divided in multiple plus. So we have divided in 5 parts as per the Hitachi. And we are providing the endpoint security, parameter, data security, cloud security, and advanced security. Here, a little about the emerging technologies. We have mentioned 7 emerging technologies: One Cosmos, Forcepine, Terafence, Opswert, GenAI, QLR, and Clean Start. Little about one-liner, how we are preferring this product for the organization. In the right-hand side, for One Cosmos, next-gen MFA. For Forcepine, data security, discovery, classifications. Terafence is IT/OT security. Opswert is file upload security. Generative AI consulting is the most important part. And QLR is zero-touch DLP and detect AI-specific threat. Right now in the market or in an organization, the last layer is AI. And beyond the AI is data should not be leaked via the AI tools in an organization. So that's why QLR is there. Clean Start is vulnerable-free Docker image. Everyone is talking about the data, but the system we are using also is vulnerable-free. So the images we are talking about here that we use in our system. Here is industry recognition by the Hitachi. You can see that 2025, 26, that GPTA India, Great People Managers for India, Strategic Link. So these are the industry recognitions. Our customer base in the field of government, manufacturing, IT, retails, and others. You can see we have included the enterprise and government, both the yeah, that's it. So I have only 10 minutes. I can explain only these things. Thanks. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Slide, yeah. So we have a vertical that you know that in data security. So we have a system integrated. So we are identifying organization that work in end-to-end, that can do the part of DBTP Act, that can be discover the data, that can be like provide a solution on the basis of data. So that's why that we have a collaboration with the ForcePoint and the top level partnership that we are working upon. Sorry? Mike?
So my question is, how do you handle adversarial inputs to your Gen AI model?
Sorry, I'm unable to listen.
The kind of input which is supposed to fool the AI into doing something that it is not supposed to do.
No voice. No, I'm not unable to listen. It's not able.
Yeah, so the question is, how do you handle adversarial inputs to your Gen AI model?
No.
That basically means,
How do you handle adversarial inputs to the Gen AI model? That's what you're trying to say?
yeah.
So
Are these the prompts that you take care of? That means these are the prompts.
So Gen AI, like we are providing two kind of services here. We are doing a consulting, how to use a AI tool in organization. This is one part we are doing. And top of that, like we also using a solutions like we also using a solutions like the Qler that we are using for this also. So we are also providing the consulting and also providing how to use for the organization these the ChatGPT and Gemini, this kind of tools. So that data should not be leaked from the AI tool as well.
I'll give you an example in our organization also. When I am using my laptop, if I open up anything where AI tool is there, we have an application to monitor that tool, and there are prompts that you can pre-configure as well. So the websites, the application that you want to do, it monitors each and every traction to endpoint to the points that you are paying for. And there are triggers that goes off that if someone is trying to do something else or the she also, there are triggers that go to the IT department or the respective team members that we need. As of day to day, you know, AI is also evolving. It's just like internet, the bubble got burst out, there were AOL, there were lights on. Same is there.
माइक दे दो नहीं तो क्योंकि
Application AI based itself, which answers the AI based itself, which makes sure that these kind of queries are and triggers are being taken care of and addressed itself. What we can do is we can have a proper discussion afterwards, because we are at the prosperity of time, I'll just make sure that the quiz is be done. This is a very good question that you have asked. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And for those few of you who've been patiently listening to us for last 1 hour or so, I think it's time to reward you with something. So I'm going to run a Kahoot quiz. So can you switch to the screen, please? So you can just log into kahoot.it and you will see the game pin on screen. And let's play a quick game. A small reward for your patience. Can we have the screen, please? While the screen comes up, in the meanwhile, you can log into kahoot.it and the game pin is 839833. I repeat, game pin is 839833. This is working. Great, I can already see people logging in. That's great. Please enter your full name so that it's easy for us to identify. Kahoot.it. Sorry? No, they have not started the gate yet. You're still logging in. I'm not getting you, sorry. Site, kahoot.it, Kahoot.it. Oh, the last one. Oh, okay. Hitachi's, got it. Puneet, Hitachi's last slide. Yeah. Game pin is 839833. उससे पहले वाला. I think the one which had all the solutions on it. Is this the one? The one that was there for a long time before they changed it. I could see all the solutions offered. Next, maybe? Yeah. Is this the one? Okay, great. Okay, I already see 26 people have signed into Kahoot. I'll just give a few seconds for this screen and then we'll switch to Kahoot. Yeah, 839833. That's right. More people are logging in. That's great. 32 already. Just repeating the pin again. 839833. Are we good? Yeah. 33. Oh, that won't help. They have to display my screen, otherwise they won't be able to see the questions. Yes, that's right, yeah. If you are having challenges, I will run the show from the console itself, if that is okay. I don't want these people to wait anymore. They waited long enough. Can I come to console? Okay, I'm coming in. Sorry for the trouble. Just give us quick 2 minutes. I need to be there. Great. We already have 39 people logged in. I'll just give 30 more seconds and we'll start. Okay, great. Let's start. We are 40. Oh. Here's the first question. Which of the following products from Forcepoint Data Security Everywhere platform? Fifteen seconds left. Right, 19 people have answered it correctly. That shows you paid attention. That's great. Let's see who's leading. Yashwan. Let's move to the next question. As part of the information production lifecycle management, Forcepoint DSPM covers which of the following? Ten seconds left. Great, 28 people have answered it right. Excellent. Let's see the scores. Everything changes. Great going. Next question. How many data sources can be monitored or controlled by DSPM? Seems to be a fairly easy answer. Awesome. All of you, almost all of you got it right. Okay, Rohit continues to lead. Great. Next question. This is multi-select. You can select multiple answers here. What are the types of risk analysis provided by Forcepoint DRA? Right. Let's see the answers. Wow, Rohit continues to lead. It's amazing. Fifth question, which aspect of data management does Forcepoint DSPM primarily address? Great, wow, 38 right answers, amazing. You all finished it with 15 seconds left to answer. Let's see the scores. Hilega nahi, Rohit, great going. Again, multi-select. What are the two primary regulations that will be driving the data security market momentum in India? Multiple choice. Ten seconds left. Okay, let's see the scores. Oh, finally there's some change. And let's move to the last one, which will decide the three winners. Which solution helps in data in use visibility for data lineage? I remember Taral was stressing upon this, data in use. Okay, great. 8 of you have got it right. The final scores. Number 3 position is Vinay. Congrats, Vinay. Sandeep in second position, and the winner is Rohit. Okay, great. Can I invite all the winners on stage, please? Taral, may I request you to do the honors, please? Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you all. Thank you.